Part 1. The Candidates.
Welcome to our election special with me, Elliot Robinson. With nominations due to close today, we have here in the studio a selection of Northern Ireland's most prominent politicians and some guy called Mark Durkan. First up is a man described by many nationalist commentators as Ireland's greatest statesman since Daniel O'Connell, and by Ian Paisley is that bearded, buck-toothed bastard from Belfast.
Well, as they say, sticks and stones may break my bones. Well, it's a pity the sticks didn't give you a third ear hole in 1970.
Can we just quit fucking around here and get on with this? If I'd wanted to listen to all shite all day, I'd be producing the George Jones Show. So, Mr. Adams, before we move on to the election, you've just returned from Washington. Can you tell us a bit about your visit?
That's all they needed in Washington, another fucking sniper. Well, if I may be allowed to continue. Actually, I had a very productive meeting with President George Bush and Vice President Dick Cheney.
Given the choice, Mr. Adams, would you prefer Bush or Dick?
Well, as you know, I'm very partial to a nice Bush, but I do have a soft spot for Dick.
And speaking of dicks, Reverend Willie McRae, have you decided when you're going to stand yet?
See, they're at it again, Dr. Paisley, making fun of my fucking name.
Yes, indeed, I can tell you that I'm just fed up with journalists and their constant double entendres about the Reverend William McRae. I'm just sick, sore and tired of people taking the piss out of my Willie. As for the question as to where my Willie is going to stand, proud and erect, it's a matter for the Protestant people. I, for one, am not in the business of ramming Willie down anyone's throat.
Sorry, but I'm going to have to cut your Willie off there, so to speak, as we've just got another important election newsflash. It has just been reported that John McBlain, that man of many faces, and all of them as ugly as Barbara de Bruyn's, has lodged nomination papers for the East Belfast constituency. We're now going over live to his press conference.
Mr. McBlain, what exactly do you hope to achieve by standing in this election?
Well, I'm just like most of the other politicians. I hope to achieve 40 grand a year for sitting on my hole of Stormont talking shite.
Yes, and you're going to run as a nationalist, or a unionist, or a cross-community candidate.
Cross community? By the time I'm finished, it's going to be a very fucking cross community indeed. Because I'm going to be all these people. Wait till you hear this.
Well, on Mondays I'm going to be the Reverend Ian Paisley, and I'm going to be a member of the Democratic Unionist Party saying no quite a lot. And on Tuesdays, I'll be Jerry Adams, and I'll be moving the peace process forward.
And it's Alex Atwood on the Wednesdays. I'll be calculating just how many more votes I can lose to Jerry Adams at the next elections.
And David Trimble, on Thursdays I'll be putting on a flak jacket to stop my Ulster Unionist colleagues stabbing me in the fucking back.
And as Bob McCartney on Fridays, as Northern Ireland's biggest barrister, I'll be spending a lot of time on my criminal practice.
Hello, this is Monica here, and at the weekends, I'll be the member of the Women's Coalition, but only for recreational purposes, big boy.
Now, we're back in the studio for instant reaction to that news. Well, isn't that a bombshell, if you'll pardon the expression, Jerry?
Well, we in Sinn Féin are not afraid of this John McBlain character. Surely doesn't even have an armed wing or gullible wealthy friends in America like we do.
And we also have here the former Lord Mayor, gentleman Jim Rogers, who I believe is set to run in the same East Belfast constituency as McBlain.
That's right, Robin, and I'm very confident of a victory because most of the members of the Glenturn Football Club are right behind me, so they are.
That must be really reassuring. Sure, Bob McCartney's party has got more members than the Glens fan club, and they're also used to losing all the time as well.
And how does the current Lord Mayor, Alex Maskey, view the situation?
Well, as a former amateur boxer, I would like to challenge McBlain to fight me, man to man, over the full 12 rounds.
Come off it. The only time Buck Alec here has ever gone 12 rounds is when he's got his finger stuck on the trigger of his Armalite. Mind you, I wouldn't mind giving that McBlain character a good dig of myself. I've heard one of his so-called humorous tapes, available in all good record shops by the way. Website is www.spittingmcblain.co.uk. Email address is...
Oh, come on, get on with it.
For fuck's sake, let me finish this off. And the language he puts in my mouth. You just wouldn't fucking believe it. He's one foul-mouthed bastard of a shite, and he's a baldy bastard too. I've seen more hair on a Brazilian fanny.
Well, we'll see in a few weeks' time the bald truth whether John McBlain is in touch with his roots.
Here, hold on a minute, Robin. What do you mean? You trying to challenge me because I'm follically challenged? You leave my roots out of this.
Or back to what I was saying, like Breege Rogers loses by a whisker. I'd like to say thanks to all the participants and may the best man or member of the Women's Coalition win.
Well, how's about you? Imagine that John McBlain fella standing for an election. My God. I haven't been so excited since Tricky Dicky whacked Emily Bishop over the head with on big crowbar. Alright, now you've just got about enough time to go and get yourself a wee cup of tea in your hand before the next instalment.
Alright, Jimmy! We want to interrupt this programme to bring you McBlain News Flash!
And exclusively on McBlain's Flash is the last recording of the Space Shuttle Columbia. For fuck's sake, let her drive. What harm can she do?
Part 2. McBlain Speaks.
Meanwhile, over at the McBlain Election HQ.
I must say, if I was looking for an election agent, I couldn't do any better than you, Lord Fit. You're the top dog as far as I'm concerned on my canvassing team. So then, John, how do you think you're going to get more people to vote for you then? I'll just talk shite, just like the rest of them do. Well, you just can't talk any old shit. You know, I tell you what, Jerry Adams and Ian Paisley didn't get where they are today without learning how to talk fluent shit. Anytime, any place, anywhere. Christ, John, you've just put me in the mood for a martini. Well, Jerry, I'm just going to have to talk shite moderately and appeal to the middle of the road. Moderate? Jesus wept. The last thing you want to be in Northern Ireland is a moderate. Sure, look at the Alliance Party. They have about as much chance of winning an election as Michael Barrymore has of winning the breaststroke at the next Olympics, for fuck's sake. And anyway, I didn't see too many moderates about when their provies were trying to burn down my house in the Antrim Road. And it wasn't moderately that they shot themselves when they looked down the barrel of my 9mm pistol. I tell you what, John, the best way to get elected is to appeal to the extremists on both fucking sides. And how do I do that, Jerry? Just leave it to me. I'll write you a speech that you can use on any occasion, whether your audience is Republican or Loyalist.
The next day, Sinn Féin holds its first election rally.
And let me say in conclusion to that, with the cutting edge of Sinn Féin's negotiating team, and with the words as our weapons, we promise that the process will be moved on, so that we have an all-Ireland mechanism for the elimination of foot and mouth disease, because it hasn't gone away, you know. Are there any questions?
Yes, Jerry. My name's Sean McBlain, and I'd like to ask one.
I didn't know there were any hecklers in the audience, Martin. There aren't, Jerry, but there's a few Kalashnikovs. Do you want me to have them shot now? No, Martin. If there's one thing that we want in Sinn Féin, and one thing we in Sinn Féin are not afraid of, is healthy debate. And besides, we could always have them kneecapped off the TV people have fucked off.
Well, Jerry, when my great-grandfather went out with his rifle on that glorious sunny morning in 1916, he wasn't fighting for the eradication of foot and mouth in Ireland. No, he was fighting for his religion, his country, and his God-given right to kick the shit out of the Emmons on the other side.
I didn't know McBlain had a relative who was out in 1916. Yeah, so was my dad's uncle. I mean, he was in the GPO with Pierce and Cullen. No, for fuck's sake. He was the first homosexual in the Lower Falls, you fucking Egypt.
And another thing, Jerry, I'd like to say to these rusty guns, if I'm elected, I'll keep my weapon well lubricated so they'll be ready to bang anything that gets in the way of our people.
Later that evening at the DUP rally.
And just let me say in conclusion, with the good looks of Nigel Dodds, the bare-faced cheek of Sammy Wilson, and the keen brain of the Reverend William McCrae, we will provide tough scrutiny of a devolved administration at Stormont without shaking hands with any of these scarfless shinners. anyone out there who dare ask a question.
Yes, Mr. Paisley. My name's John Billy McBlain, and I would just like to say that when my great-grandfather went out with his rifle on that glorious sunny morning in 1916, he wasn't fighting for a closely scrutinised assembly at Stormont. No, he was fighting for his religion, his country, and his God-given right to kick the shit out of them uns on the other side.
Fuck me, Dr. Paisley. That bastard is trying to out-bigot us.
Yes, Willie. No one ever lost an election by underestimating the intelligence of Ulster loyalists. Present company accepted, of course. We have to do something about this cute here.
Late that evening, spirits were high in the McBlain campaign headquarters.
Christ, John, you went down like orange juice at a free Presbyterian wedding. You had those provies named Paisley eating out of the palm of your hand. Just as long as they don't turn into vultures picking the meat off your bony arse. Come on, Jerry, look on the bright side of things for once. We made a great start. What could possibly go wrong now? I don't know about you, but I'm fit to burst after that. Don McBlain, what about him? I don't know who to vote for, though. It's the same every election. I'm always swinging both ways. But stay tuned, because after the break they're going to be talking about drugs. This is getting worse in Brookside, isn't it? And now we have a McBlain newsflash. Sinn Féin President Gerry Adams has revealed that a carnival of the Falls Road in the summer will include bungee jumping for £5. Protestants go free, no strings attached.
Part 3. The Drugs Debate.
There was a time that the only people in Northern Ireland who got stoned on a regular basis were the members of the RUC and the British Army. But today, one of the greatest dangers faced by our young people, apart from C Company and Catholic priests, is the ever-growing drugs menace. Here in the studio, we have some of our most prominent politicians who are going to tell us what they are going to do about the problem. First up is Gerry Adams.
Well, the way I see it is that drugs are a terrible evil. First of all, they distract young people from Sinn Féin's struggle against the occupation of our country by the British state. And secondly, they leave people with less money, which could be spent on fags, sorry Julian, and booze, which are bravely smuggled in by the volunteers of the IRA. That's right, Jerry. That explains why so many young nationalists have failed to fill in their electoral registration forms. They were too fucking blitzed on marijuana, and I blame the Brits for introducing the supergrass system.
Hold on a minute, Martin Art Garfunkel McGuinness. If I can just interrupt Cheech and John here and point out that it was the members of the IRA who were caught up in South America up to their oxters in the old Colombian dandruff.
Well, let me tell you something, Mr. Paisley. That is a slanderous allegation. And you know very well that those three innocent Irishmen went to Colombia to indulge in their hobby of birdwatching. And the reason they were travelling on false passports was because the international sport of birdwatching is extremely competitive. So they didn't want their rivals to know that they were onto some rare bird.
Well, you would have to be out of your fucking tree in some Class A gear to believe that one, Grizzly Adams. And oh yes, speaking of old nose candy, I hear that Jimmy Nesbitt's doctor has advised him to stay away from cocaine, so he's bought himself a 15-foot straw.
Turning to John McBlain now, your manifesto created some controversy, especially the bit where you said you not only wanted to legalise cannabis, but actually make it compulsory for all members of the Stormont Assembly. Can you elaborate on this policy?
Well, the Assembly's already been making a hash of things for the past 4 years. Things have gone to pot, and there are already plenty of dopes in the chamber talking shit. So why not shake the joint up with a bit of wacky-backy?
Turning to the SDLP's Alex Atwood. Alex, would you be in favour of smoking dope in the Assembly?
Personally speaking, I have never had my lips around anything illegal.
That's not what I've heard, Alex.
But I suppose being stoned off your tits might make it easier to listen to one of Bob McCartney's speeches. Well, I can tell you that the people of Mid-Ulster, South Antrim, or wherever the fuck it is I'm standing in, don't like dope. I mean, don't like dope because the Pope likes dope. And if there's one fucking thing we don't like, it's the Pope. The only thing that we get high on is the sweet sound of country and gospel music. I myself have seen the slippery slope that cannabis leads to. One young man started off with an odd puff. Sorry, Julian.
Well, Willie, never mind, Julian, but I've heard the same said about yourself.
An odd puff on that jazz cigarette. And then he started ecstasy, cocaine, heroin. And now I hear he's become addicted to the most depraved habit of them all. He's taken up fucking line dancing in Draperstown pubs every weekend.
At this stage, we've now been joined by the former Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, Mo Mowlam, who has recently advocated the legalisation of drugs. Tell me, Mo, did you ever indulge in illegal pharmaceuticals when you were at Stormont Castle?
Of course I did, and you don't think I got through that long Good Friday agreement on fucking hot cross buns, do you? And come on, let's be serious. I had to get Stone to go around hugging all those murdering bastards. And I must tell you now that Jerry, that in order to get you to sign up to the copper fastened partition, I've got my security boys to put a little something special in your pipe.
Well, fuck me. That explains why I had to send Jerry Kelly out to get another packet of hobnobs, and not him of UTV.
And Mr. Twimble, after you eat my special cakes, you couldn't be asked to argue about the cross-border bodies.
That's right, Mo. But until I met Mr. Adams, I used to think a cross-border body was an IRA informer left in a ditch in the south of Newry. Hold on there, Mrs. Mayhem. You said you put drugs in cakes. So what the fuck am I eating now?
Well, I'll get my friend here, Lloyd Grossman, to explain.
Well, what you and your fellow panelists have been devouring, Dr. Page, is a succulent petite, infused with an oil which has a high content of tetrahydrocannabinol, or what non-cognoscenti may refer to as a hash cake. Jesus, Martin, I haven't felt as weird since the pillars kept me awake for 4 nights running in fucking Castlereagh.
And I'm so stoned as well, Jerry, that I can imagine taking your seat in the next election.
Christ, this must be fucking strong shit, man.
Oh, Jerry, man. How about we bury the hatchet and get back into government?
But what about all this business of dissolving the IRA?
Listen, man. I can just see the IRA dissolving right now in front of me. I love the smell of Semtex in the morning. Well, all that I can say is no. I can hardly fucking speak. Well, all that I can say is no. No woman, no cry, as my man Bob Marley used to say.
Bob Marley? Isn't that your man that used to run round that fucking roundabout in Belfast?
No, not Bob. He was fucking Mickey.
Honestly, Jerry, I couldn't give a fuck what religion he was. He just went like man, round and round and up and down and swinging it in and out and pulling it left, right and centre.
That's right, Willie. Mickey Marley's roundabout is the only place even you could be guaranteed a fucking seat.
Ah, yes. Good one, Martin. Yes, I like that. Yes, a good one, Martin. Yes, I like it.
I think this is the appropriate moment to leave the debate. Join us next when we discuss the important issue of police reform.
Hold on a minute. This isn't moving the process forward.
Would you just ever fuck up, Jerry? And stop bogarting those fucking hobnobs.
Wasn't that terrible? Them and's all on drugs, and I've never touched them myself. The only joint ever I've had is for my Sunday dinner. There's nothing better than lying down to watch the Antiques Roadshow with a good person of hot meat inside you. After the break, John McBlain will be explaining his manifesto. And we all know it'll be full of sex and drugs just like Portadown on a Saturday night. We go back to the studio for McBlain Newsflash. In Bangor today, 2 dyslexic robbers walked into a bank shouting, "Air in the hands, mother stickers. This is a fuck up." Both have been arrested by the RSPCA.
Part 4. McBlain's Manifesto.
With the election campaign started, it was time for John McBlain to put together a manifesto, and who better to help than the chairman of the Labour Party, former Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, John Reid.
Alright, John, let's get this manifesto together. Before we start, I've always wondered why it's called a manifesto. Christ, you are new to politics business, aren't you? It's called a manifesto because everything in it is manifestly a fucking lie. But nobody knows that until after you're fucking elected. What? Why not tell the truth for a change? The truth? How you're fucking wasting, man. Sure, wasn't it Oscar Wilde that said, if you go around telling the truth, sooner or later you'll be found out. So go on, tell me, what truths do you want to tell?
Well, if I'm elected, I'm going to spend my storm-out salary on drink, women, gambling, and marijuana, and the rest I'll just waste.
Apart from the fact that it sounds like you've been reading too many of Georgie Best's autobiographies, you can't tell them that. You must promise to spend the money on maintaining a drop-in advice service. That means you can spend all day guldering in the fucking pub.
Well, how about if I promise to double the dole, and half the price of drink, making most of my constituents 4 times better off?
Aye, that's more like it. Tell people a lot of old fucking shite that you'll never actually get round to doing. It's worked twice for Tony Blair, hasn't it?
Well, I also promised to change the name of the Shankill to Shank Hill, so that the English journalists will never spell it wrong again.
Aye, good. An eye-catching headline. And it'll cost fuck all too. The other thing we have to get straight, though, is the special language used in Northern Ireland elections. And John Cole is the man to teach you that. Yes, John, first of all, how are you going to describe yourself?
Well, how about John McBlain as a statesman?
No way, for fuck's sake. In Northern Ireland, the definition of a statesman is someone who has got tired of killing the electorate.
Well, how about John McBlain's a moderate?
No, I don't think so. A moderate is someone who hasn't actually pulled the trigger on anyone. Let's just say that you're a strong defender of the traditional values. That means you're going to move the process forward in a spirit of peace and reconciliation. And you're prepared to maim or kill any fucker that gets in the way of that. Alright. And here's a list of key phrases that you'll have to learn off. The electorate know that I always stand by my promises.
That means vote for me and I'll buy you a pint.
You're confident that our core vote has turned out.
That means we've got all the names from this year's death columns in the newsletter in the Irish News.
We have detected massive irregularities in voting.
That means them more bastards are cheating even more than us.
I'm quietly confident.
That means we're fucked.
I'm disappointed that he didn't get elected, but isn't it good to see democracy in action? The people have spoken.
That means the ignorant, ungrateful, sucking bastards.
Shocking, absolutely shocking. Sure, he's got as much chance of winning the election as Mandy Dingle has of passing a donut shop. And speaking of donuts, why don't you all go out into the kitchen and make a wee cup of tea and get your lips round a nice ring? Sorry, a gravy ring.
We're going over to the studio for a McBlain News Flash.
Actress Dawn French was arrested at Heathrow Airport today for smuggling drugs. She bent over with no knickers on and exposed 50 kilos of crack.
Part 5 on the campaign trail.
With the election now in its final week, several polls are saying that John McBlain has a strong chance of winning a seat in East Belfast, but unfortunately, the polls in question are only registered to vote back in Warsaw. McBlain is basing his campaign on the basis that people will want to vote for a man of many faces, not just the standard 2 faces which the rest of those bastard politicians all have. But coming up now on Radio Belfast is a recording made earlier today when our man with the tape recorder joined the candidate on the canvas in East Belfast.
Will you just fuck off? I told you that I would pay the catalogue money next week. Now will you just fucking clear off?
I'm sorry, madam, but I'm not from the catalogue people. I'm standing for an election to the Assembly. My name's John McBlain.
Alright, right, son. It's just that the only people we see wearing suits round here, debt collectors, are them frickin' Mormons or morons. Sometimes it's like a bloody Osmond's reunion round here, and they're not even proper Protestants. Half of them couldn't tell King Billy from King fucking Kong.
Well, I can tell you're a proper Protestant, madam. Your doorstep is nearly as well polished as David Irvine's big baldy head.
And you won't see any Fenian houses with a doorstep like that there, love, I can tell you. They're too busy exercising their conjurated rights, or whatever you call it, talking treason against their majesty. But anyway, what are you going to do for my man?
Well, what's his problem?
Well, he hasn't worked now for 5 years, ever since Short stopped making them blowjob missiles.
Surely you mean blowpipe missiles?
They were called blowjobs. Once they had a ship that sucked all the semen out.
Don't worry, madam. If I get elected, I'll see that all our arms factories produce bombs and missiles day and night. Sure, it'll be part of the peace dividend.
I'll think about it. But see that gate, close it on your way out, love, will you? Because the dogs are always shitting in that fucking garden of mine. Or it'll not be my boat you'll be getting, it'll be my toe up your hole.
Oh, thank you, madam, and have a nice day.
Later on in the Short Strand.
What do you want? Can't you see I've got 14 wains here, waiting to get fed, and I've only got 2 fucking tits?
Hello, madam. My name is Sean McBlain, and I'm standing for the Assembly elections this year.
Right, well, what are you going to do about my man? He's been on the run now for 5 fucking years.
Well, as an elected representative, I will be doing everything in my power to see that people convicted of political offences will be allowed to return home to their friends and families. I must say you have a lovely set of legs on you, madam.
Home, Jesus, Mary, St. Joseph and his wee holy fucking donkey. That's the last place I want to see that bastard. He's on the run for me since he drank our Siobhan's Holy Communion money. He's about as welcome in this house as a Protestant fucking petrol bomb.
Oh, don't worry, madam. If I get elected, we'll be opening up the H-blocks again, especially for him.
Well, if he goes on hunger strike, you can tell him I won't be banging my bin lid when he's fucking titty bread.
Thank you and good night, and don't forget to exercise your franchise, if you know what I mean.
I've exercised that enough, son. How do you think I've got 14 fucking wains?
Oh, and I must say I'm very envious of your 14 children. I wish I was sucking your big tits. Oh, what was that punch for there, madam? There was no need for that. Is that your way of foreplay?
Later on, McBlain was canvassing Cypress Avenue when he spotted a familiar figure.
If it's not Van the man himself. I bet you, matey, alright?
Well, I'm just caught one more time up in Cypress Avenue, by the pylons, on the road to Caledonia, past the Mystic Church,
God's sake, Van. You need to go down and see a doctor about that fucking stutter.
What stutter?
Right, come on now. Give me a hand with this fucking old canvassing. Let's try this big house here.
What about the sign here? It says, no sinners, shinners, Trimbleites, Sodomites, Armalites, Armenians, Iberians, or Fenians, or vendors, or benders, or lenders, or menders, and definitely no surrenders. As Lloyd Grossman might say, I wonder who would live in a house like this.
Alright, I see. What do you 2 jippos want? I had my windows cleaned a couple of days ago, now fuck off.
I'm John McBlain, Dr. Paisley.
Oh yes, I recognise you now. You malignant wee gobshite. Who's this buck idiot you've got beside you?
I surely recognise me, Dr. Paisley. I'll give you a clue. Are you a fan of the blues?
Not at all. I'm a Glen Turnman myself. And I must say, you look a bit too old and a bit fat, even for a Linfield player.
No, I was brought up in this area. You might know me as Ivan Morrison.
Alright, so you're that fat bastard from downtown radio. When did you shave off the beard?
No, Doc, he's Van Morrison. He's the Willie McRae of Celtic soul music.
Don't even mention that man's name in the same breath as the Reverend McRae. Sure, he's not even fit to lick the polish of my Willie.
Yo, whatever turns you on, Doc.
Wouldn't it be great if it was like this all the time? My fucking arse. You could take your Celtic arsehole music and bugger off. And I hope you get famished before tea, you fat bastard.
Shall we put him down as a
I don't know then, John.
I don't know. God, I just hope that McBlain fella doesn't come round here and try and slip his proposals through my letterbox, 'cause I lit the balls off him. Mind you, he'd probably enjoy it. Why can't he behave himself like that nice Mr. Michael Barrymore? I don't know why they took him off the old TV. Something about a party, wasn't it? But here, what's wrong with trying to widen the circle of your friends? Well, we're going over to the studio for a McBlain newsflash. Pop star and famous homosexual Mr. John has revealed that he intends to have a car tattooed on his penis. Asked what type of car he would like, he replied a 4x4, as he's a lot of shit to get through.
Part 6. Blind Hate. The Selection Process.
Welcome to our special election edition of Blind Hate. Tonight's lucky lady in search of love is the former Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, Mo Mowlam. Tell me, Mo, what are you looking for in a man?
Well, woman, the things I'm looking for in a man include, firstly, a sense of humour, a keen intellectual mind, an ability to commit empathy, but most of all, a huge cock.
Well, let's hope the elections coming up result in a hung assembly. A really well hung assembly.
Oh, Robin, I wish I could top your poll this minute.
I'm sorry, Mo, but I do want to lose my deposit. But enough of this risque banter. Let's get down to the meat of the issue. We have 3 horny hunks here tonight, all desperate to whisk you away on our mystery trip to an exotic location. And they are...
Sorry Graham can't be here to do this announcement, but I am his father, Zanding. Number 1 is the biggest willy in Stormont. This Randy Reverend is both a politician and a singer who specializes in country and gospel recordings. And I bet he's dying for you to get your hands on his extended 12-inch remix. So let's give it up for the Reverend William McRae from Mid-Ulster, South Antrim, or wherever the fuck he's standing. Number 2 is Jerry Fit. Now he's a lord. He's dying to get his grubby hands all over your long blonde hair. Peace. Number 3 is the duck with the cock. He thinks he's been dangled as he's the biggest orange man around, and he's desperate to squeeze his juices all over you.
Well, Mo, it looks like we've got 3 stooges here for you tonight. What is your first question?
Well, what I would like to ask the contestants is whether they have bought my book, and I would like number 3 to answer that first.
Well, I can tell you, Mo. From the moment I picked up your book until the moment I put it down, I couldn't stop laughing. Someday I'll get round to reading it.
Cheeky bastard. Same question to number 2.
Well, of course I've read your book, Mo. I've caressed your spine with my fingers, lingered all over your opening chapter, and if I had my way, you definitely wouldn't be left on the shelf.
A real charmer, isn't he, Mo? With all this talk about spy scandals in Stormont, in your time in office here, were you ever worried about being penetrated by Sinn Féin?
Chance would be a fine thing, Elliot. And finally, the same question to number 3.
No, I have not read your book, Mo. I'm told it contains sex, drugs, bad language and graphic descriptions of republicanism in it. No, the only book I read is the good book.
So there you have it, Mo. Will you pick number 1, a big Willie who will take you up the country and western clubs? Number 2, the ever-hungry Lord Fitz who would like to loosen you up with a bottle of gin and give you a good tonic? Or will it be number 3, Ian Paisley, who will probably pull you out if he doesn't get to see your bunkers?
This is a very hard one.
You're telling me, Mo.
But I think I'm developing a soft spot for Willie.
Okay, Mo, but first, let's meet the contestants that you have rejected. Come in, number 2, Jerry Fitz from Belfast.
Thank fuck you rejected me, you're brutal. I heard you got a waterbed for Christmas. You must have drank the fucking water out of it. You're a waterbed and 2 legs now.
Well, seeing you now, I'm just glad I rejected you. You remind me too much of that little prick who used to be in Winterghost.
And you've also turned down the Rev from Cypress Avenue. What a pity, he would never have said no to you.
Oh, so you're Mo Mullen. I thought you were just a tea lady up at Sturmite during the Good Friday negotiations. But I tell you what, you're a real stinker.
Well, you can just fuck off now. I've seen better looking goblins.
And here is your blind hate date. Yes, wee Willie McRae from Macrofelt.
Christ, you're a bit scrawny, aren't you? You can't weigh more than 120 pounds.
Yes, Mo, but 100 pounds of that is pure cock.
So who's going to choose the card with the mystery location for your date?
Well, you know me. I'm very traditional. When I'm with a lady, she always comes first.
Is that a promise, Willie? Okay, here goes. Oh, it's a weekend in Derry.
And where the fuck is Derry? Surely you mean Londonderry?
Whatever.
Well, these two lovebirds are going off to the Paris of the Northwest. Yes, Derry stroke Londonderry. When they come back from the Maiden City, we'll see if Mo is still a maiden, and whether Willie has managed to lift any of the shirts that the women of the city are famous for making. Or will they go offside in the bogside? Will they have a queer gag in the Cregan? Or will the course of true love be foiled yet again? Watch this space.
Do you know, I've just found out why Derry is called the Maiden City. Apparently during the siege the city walls were never penetrated by King James. I know just how he felt.
We're going over to the studio for McBlain Newsflash.
I know this is not a newsflash as such, but if you like Kylie Minogue like I do, the anagram of her name is You Like Minge.
Part 7. Blind Hate. The Lover's Return.
Welcome back to the second part of our Blind Hate election special. Last week, Mo the Minger Molum chose wee Willie McRae, and they set off for a romantic weekend in Derry stroke Londonderry. Let's see how they got on.
Well, here we are in Derry. Oh, sorry, Londonderry. What would you like to do first, Willie?
Would you like me to take you up the bogside?
Maybe later, Willie. But I'd rather do some sightseeing first.
Later on, in the bogside.
Jesus, Mo. This is where all our taxes are going. Building new houses and community centres for Fenians.
Just shut the fuck up, Willie. Do you want to get a shot? Look, there's an advice centre. Let's go and see if we can get some tourist information.
And what can I do for you two? Is it DLA claim? Or do you just want an e-job done on your neighbours? Fuck me, it's Mo Mullen and Willie McRae.
Christ, Mo, you baldy bollocks. It's one of those advice centres.
Come on and take a seat there, Willie. I hear you're always on the lookout for one. I'd like you to meet my colleague, Mitchell McLachlan, the man with the most monotonous voice in Ireland. Well, I must tell you that I resent that description, Martin, and it may be true that my location is a bit soporific, but I aspire to impress the populace, not with pointless verbosity, but with the lucidity of my cold, continuous disputations.
Fuck me, Mitchell. You must have eaten the same fucking dictionary as David Irvine. Wake up, Willie. He's fucking finished.
Holy shit, that McLachlan character makes Bob McCartney sound like that Martin Luther Vandross character.
Oh, sorry, Martin, but I can't linger to chat. We've got to do some last searches of all the Sinn Féin voters who have been left off the electoral register. That's right, Mitchell. You don't think we've got all these copies of the Derry Journal's death notices for nothing? It used to be that the Brits interned Republicans. Now they're the victims of internment.
That's right, Martin. We didn't march for one man, one vote, just so that the Brits could disenfranchise the nationalists just as soon as they expire. For some of our voters up in the city cemetery haven't even started decomposing yet.
I tell you what, Mo, it's no wonder that bastard McGuinness took my seat. It was up against stiff opposition, literally.
Oh, never mind, Willie. Let's get back to the hotel before we run into John Hume. I'd rather have my bikini line waxed by John Prescott than having to listen to that fucker's single transferable speech again.
Let's ask our two blind haters how they got on during their weekend. Will I have to buy a new hat, or perhaps a balaclava and a beret?
First of all, I have to say that all was going really, really well until we got back to the hotel. Well, Willie, almost as soon as we went into our room, committed an unspeakable act.
He didn't, did he? Tell us more.
Yes, the wee fucker got me to get down on my knees, and then he... Oh, it was horrible. He showed me this long, narrow tongue, and then he sang a fucking country and gospel song to me.
Jesus, no. How could you, Willie?
Well, she led me on. Don't get me wrong. I don't usually do country on a first date. But she's a temptress. She's a scarlet whore. And I just couldn't resist giving her a mouthful of sweet gospel music.
And if that wasn't enough, he then got his old mangy organ out and started fingering it for hours.
Oh, Willie.
That was no organ, Mo. That was my trusty old accordion. And I might have a knackered old box, much like yourself. But at least I can still squeeze a tune out of it.
Well, let's see if I can squeeze a tune out of you, you sanctimonious, wee gurney gospel screeching free Presbyterian preaching prick.
Mo, will you fucking do it, Mo?
Now you take that, you wee bastard.
I must say, it sounds better than his last record. But now that Mo has finally got her hands around a Willie, it's time to leave you. Tune in next week when we have a lovely lass from Cluin Place, who will be getting to choose from amongst 3 studs who live just a stone's throw away. Yes, quite literally, in the short strand.
How's about you? Von Mo Mulliman, how could she treat our Willie like that? I'm not political at all, but I do like the Reverend William McCrae's music. In the summertime, I like nothing more like putting a gerbil up my arse with its teeth and its nails pulled out. Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon, I went off the old bait and docket there. I like nothing more than putting one of his country and gospel CDs on the stereo and listening to him in the backyard. Although I do have the odd occasional complaint from the neighbours objecting to the sound of Willie coming out of my back passage.
Well, we're going back to the studio for a news flash.
US and British forces have invaded a housing estate in Pakistan today. 250 are dead and 400 are injured. A spokesman says they will attack this second house tomorrow.
Part 8. Polling Day.
With the polls having opened some 6 hours ago, we're now going live around the province for progress reports on the voting. And we're starting in Derry/Londonderry with our man on the ground, Doherty. Oh, Doherty, how's the polling going, Doherty?
Well, you know, the voting at the lunchtime was reported on a very press top one.
You know, I know, and the listeners at home all know that when a reporter says that the voting is brisk, it means he doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on. Do you have anyone there who does know?
Well, you know, I'm the former Minister of Education here, Mark McGuinness.
Okay, Martin, what's happening on the ground?
Well, I'm not too sure what is happening on the ground, but I can tell you what is going under it. We're hearing that everyone in the city cemetery who is less than a year dead has already voted, and they have turned out overwhelmingly to vote for Sinn Féin.
And how do you account for this big swing towards your party on the part of the dearly departed?
Well, you know, elections just aren't decided during the campaign. It all goes on the amount of spadework put in by the parties in the previous months and years beforehand.
Thank you, Martin. And from Derry, where the people are quite literally dying to vote. We now go to Ballymena, where the DUP leader, Dr. Paisley, is encouraging his flock to cast their votes for his party.
Oh yes, I can tell you that the good people of North Antrim, and by that I mean the Protestants of course, are coming out in their thousands to vote against treachery, tribalism, republicanism, finionism, feminism, socialism, hypnotism, and against the Antichrist old red socks himself. And don't forget about finionism. I know I've already said it, but I thought it was worthwhile pointing that out again.
And is it because of the quality of your candidates that people are voting DUP?
I would certainly think so. But frankly, apart from myself, you wouldn't find many great intellects standing for the DUP. I mean, I wouldn't describe any of my colleagues as Epstein. I know he done a great job with the Beatles. But in fact, you could put a red, white and blue rosette on a donkey, and it'd still be elected in North Antrim.
Well, why didn't you stand a donkey?
Well, unfortunately, if we stand a donkey, it would be liable to be abducted and subjected to unspeakable sexual acts by some of my sex-starved constituents.
Let's hold that thought for a second. And swiftly moving on, where we're now going for a live interview with the SDLP's Alex Atwood in West Belfast. How's it going there, Alex?
Well, I have to say it's going great, Sawdad. I've already spoken to a nun today and she said that she's thinking of voting for me. But anyway, I'm going forward with a ballot box in one hand and a Carmelite in the other.
And what about the priests? Have you been pressing the flesh with them?
Oh, not at all. Sure, I'm about 30 years too old for that sort of thing.
No, I mean, have they been putting their P references in your box?
Personally, I don't care what the preferences of the voters are. I'll accept votes from people whether they're straight, gay, lesbian, bisexual, or even a Protestant.
Thank you, Alex. And now we're going a mile up the Falls Road to join Jerry Adams at the Sinn Féin election HQ. How's the election going at your end, Jerry?
Well, I can honestly say that things are going smoothly. It's like a military operation here. Not, of course, that I was, as everyone knows, have ever had anything to do with military operations per se. Apart from that time that I shot a rabbit, as detailed in my autobiography. But anyway, I must say that killing that rabbit brought me no pleasure. It was an act of war against those furry little fuckers who were eating the cabbages, that because of the starvation tactics of the British government, were all that the people of West Belfast had to fucking eat.
Yeah, Jerry, but unfortunately I've got to stop you before you get on to the usual old shite about Robert Emmet, the famine, Patrick Pearse, etc, etc. Anyway, finally, we're now going to East Belfast, where wildcard candidate John McBlain is meeting his key workers in his election headquarters. Can you hear me, John?
There's a bit of noise here. Enthusiastic election workers, you know. Another gin and tonic here, barman. My fucking throat's as dry as a free Presbyterian funeral.
Would I be correct in assuming that your election headquarters is a public house?
It's an old mission hut. The party strongly believes in temperance. Make that 4 pints or 2 Guinness, 4 bags of cheese and onion. Oh, and a Camparian soda for the lady.
Thanks, John, that'd be nice.
Are your voters turning out in big numbers, John?
Well, you can say that. In fact, some of them have indeed voted quite a number of times.
Are you admitting that you have been involved in impersonation?
Oh, I do that for a living. Oh, that's impersonation. Anyway, I've already casted Sammy Wilson vote for him. It's a good job none of them election workers could recognise him with his clothes on.
Are you claiming a big swing in your favour?
Honey, that's what all the women say to me.
Thanks, John, but that's all we do have time for. Join us tomorrow for our special election results programme, which I promise you will be as tense as Iris Robinson's face.
Don't you just have to feel sorry for these politicians? They spend ages getting to the top, then the next minute they find themselves sliding down the greasy pole. A bit like an airline steward, really. But hold tight, we're now going to the climax. Will McBlain get in, or will he pull out at the last moment?
Yep, we're going to McBlain for a newsflash.
Ku Klux Knievel has broken his own world record by jumping over 50 black men on a steamroller.
Part 9. The results.
Welcome to our election results special. And without further ado, let's go over live to Belfast City Hall, where Jerry Adams has just been elected in West Belfast. Jerry, was this result ever in doubt?
Not really, although I was touching cloth for a bit yesterday afternoon when the printer that I was running off our passports broke down for a couple of hours, but we managed to get it fixed again.
Some commentators are saying that the low turnout in the election was due to the fact that most of our local politicians are lacking conviction.
Well, I can assure you that in the case of Sinn Féin, that is not true. Most of our candidates have a string of convictions, as long as Nigel Dodd's face, apart from Mitchell McLaughlin, of course, who was excused from active service due to his flat feet.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jerry, but we're now going over live for the result from East Belfast, where John McBlain is standing for the Peace Off Party.
Well, we have the results for the East Belfast constituency, and they're as follows. John Paul Alter Boy, that's SDLP, 892. Billy Craigavon, fuck the Pope and all his acolytes, Carson, DUP, 2,679. David Willie Thorne Irvine, PUP, 3,284. Helens Bay Housewife, Alliance, 3 votes. Patrick Pearce Wolftown Bold Robert Emmerich, Daniel O'Connell, Daniel O'Donnell, Kevin Berry White, James Connolly Station Up the Ra, Sean Seamus O. Semtex, Sinn Féin, 1,326. Peter Robertson Centre, Robertson House, Robertson Avenue, Robertson, DUP, 7,267. Gentleman Jim Rogers, Ulster Unionist Party, 69. Sammy Bear-Ast Wilson, DUP, 69. John McBlain, Peace Off Party, 7,459. And I hereby declare that the awful mentioned John McBlain has exceeded the quota and has been elected on the first count. Julian, I need another stiff one. Make it a large one.
A stunning result there in East Belfast for John McBlain. But now we're off to hear the Reverend Willie McRae's victory speech in, wherever the fuck it is he's standing this time.
Well, I would just like to thank God and the Reverend Dr. Paisley for this famous victory. And I'd also like to thank the people of wherever the fuck this is for voting for me. And I would like to end this speech in the traditional manner.
Watch out, the bastard's getting his melodeon out. Run for it before he starts fucking singing.
Unfortunately, we've got to leave before Willie comes to a climax, but do join us later this evening when we'll have a range of politicians who will be involved in a a recent debate and a discussion of the dramatic events of today.
I bet at home you're all scunnered. Imagine people voting for McBlain. I think I'd better go home now and get my head down and suck on a fisherman's friend. Mind you, I wouldn't mind sucking a big smelly trout. So I'll say a big what about you to all of you at home and leave you with the last sketch. Apparently it's full of oral exchange of issues, but personally, I wouldn't be too keen to get a mouthful from any of these characters.
And now we have a McBlain newsflash.
The two surviving Gibb brothers have decided to move to Cornwall as it's the only time they'll ever get to see Morris dance again. And they've also announced that there's a third off all ticket sales for this season's concerts.
Part 10. The Climax.
Welcome to the latest edition of Assembly Election 2003. With results now in, you could say it's all over bar the shite talking. But here in the studio this evening are politicians who could fill the Silent Valley Reservoir with the amount of shite they have talked over the years.
Who are you calling a shite talker? I've never been so insulted in all my life.
Well, I find that very hard to believe, Doc.
You keep out of it, Beardy Buck, or I'll slap you so hard you'll have a bake on you like that Leslie Ash.
Aye, you and whose army?
Well, in your case, we all know whose army you'd be involved with.
That are slander. That is total and utter slander. Did someone mention the word slander? As Northern Ireland's biggest barrister, I'm willing to represent anyone in court for the usual nominal fee.
Why don't you just fuck off back to Helm's Bay before I stick your wig up your arse?
Calm down, gentlemen, please. I think it's time we brought on a peacemaker. And who better than the Nobel Peace Prize winner, David Trimble?
Nobel? No balls, more like it.
That's just typical of the low personal abuse that I've come to expect from a big string of petrified pish like yourself, Dr. Paisley.
Well, if you want low personal abuse, Mr. Trimble, you ain't heard nothing yet, you Pope-pleasing, Republican-appeasing, Fenian-loving Lundy.
Turning to Alex Atwood, now that you have fewer Assembly members than Sinn Féin, what is the future for the SDLP?
The way I see it is, we're fucked. Personally, I'm going to apply to join Sinn Féin. Up the ra and chucky our fucking la.
Why bother, Alex? Sure, your party has been doing the shinner's work for years. We all know why you're called the Stoops. Because you spend so much time stooping over to kiss Jerry Adams' arse.
Well, I would like to refute that allegation. Mr. Atwood has never been anywhere near my arse. The only people who have ever parted my cheeks were the RUC when I was in Castlereagh. And they didn't find any weapons in that particular bunker, I'll tell you. Mind you, there was a bit of a gas explosion.
And turning to Lord Fitt, you must be personally disappointed to see the party that you and John Hume founded being overtaken by Sinn Féin.
Disappointed me or slip it up, fuckers. That's what I say. I just hope that John Hume is able to take it on the chin. The fat fucker's got enough of them. He's got more chins than a fucking Chinese directory.
Well, I must say, Johnny, that's a bit unfair to the man who helped me create the Irish peace process.
If it's peace you want, hold on a second while I get my piece out. And as you can see, it's a Browning 9mm pistol here. Just like the one I had to wave at them provy bastards who tried to burn me out of my house in the Antrim Road.
Alright, watch out. Hey, watch where you're waving that fucking thing, Jerry.
Don't worry, I can see that the safety catch is on.
Oh, Jesus, you've hit Willie McRae in the chest. It'll take more than a bullet to pierce my Protestant hide, I'll tell you. By God's providence, in my breast pocket, I happen to have my own personal Bible with a Kevlar cover, so I'll not be joining the choir invisible just yet.
It's a pity you're not a member of the choir inaudible, you screeching wee runt.
Shut your gob, Lundy. Maybe a slap across the bake with a good book will make your face even redder than it is.
Oh, fuck. Willie, that's no way to use the good book. No, you want to hit him in the balls with it.
Oh, fuck. I'm going to do music lovers a favour. And make sure that wee bastard McRae never sings again, the wee culchy fucker.
Damn it, stop it.
Will someone do something here? Trimble's choking the life out of my Willie.
Gentlemen, this isn't moving the process forward.
Here, let me fucking move it forward a bit.
You bastard Fit. If you still had a house here in the Antrim Road, I tell you what, I'd be burnt to fucking ground by the morning.
Oh, Jerry, give it over. If you could all stop enjoying yourselves and stop messing around, we might be able to find out if that baldy bastard John McBlain is going to take the top spot.
No, I don't want to be First Minister, Mo. I'll be too busy enjoying myself on the old booze and the wacky-backy. No, that position will be taken by someone who's vastly experienced in rainbow coalitions.
Hello, boys and girls. My name is George, and I'm going to be running this shithole from now on.
and I have already appointed Chippy and Bungo to the executive. Sorry, but this is Northern Ireland, so everything will end with the same old crock of shit. So bye-bye everybody at home and everybody in the studio. Let's get back to Starmount and get on with our vital work. First thing on the agenda is another pay rise.
Wouldn't it be great if it was like this all the fucking time?
And now we have a McBlain newsflash.
Police in Afghanistan have arrested 3 of 4 non-terrorists believed to be from the Falls Road. Been thieving, been drinking and been fighting. However, they can find no trace of been working.
What was that then?
It was. What have you done? You know, you've ruined my career.
Oh, you're bollocks.
You have. I am going to be sacked from the radio now because of swearing on your fucking tape.
What career did you have anyway? Radio?
Very good radio career. Good journalism career as well. Now what have I got?
And that little dirty magazine you write for?
Hope you're going to pay me now.
You joking? You get my Jarrow when? Thursday? Aye, come down on Friday and I'll give you a few quid. But sure, but more than you'll be getting on that radio, so-called radio station, that so-called magazine.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Fucking should be thankful you're fucking been with the biggest star you've ever even interviewed in your whole fucking life.
Fuck off.
Alright then.
And I'll patch that all together.
Fuck. Well, that wasn't rehearsed, you bastards. That was very good. Excellent. Suppose you want me to fuck off and go back, Ma?
Oh, yes. Wrap your lugs around this.
Yeah, like that.
It's a new millennium, and you have to move with the times, you know. Well, I'm the main man in the DUP. There is no shinner fit to mess with me. I'm the Free Presbyterian moderator. Colours of a modern, I'll see you later. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. For a fire and brimstone Bible tutorial, just get your ass on the Martyrs Memorial. When I'm in the public frame, that is it. There's no compromise and no bullshit. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Oh, yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
As Bob Dylan used to say, the times they are a-changin'. Trimble in his makeover, Adams in his chunky Armani suit, and Marty McGuinness. Thank goodness he stuffed those hatter-racks and those Aran sweaters. What about the arms, Marty? In the DUP, we're non-sectarian. Anyone can join if you're Free Presbyterian. I'm a party animal, indeed, that's me. Leading a party called the DUP. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I'm the big man of Ulster, everybody knows. I'm a natural born leader, I hope it shows. The biggest man Ulster's ever seen, with a huge personal mandate. Ask Eileen, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a rap. A Paisley rap. Oh, yes.
Hit it.
Oh, that's funky.
Like that.
Come on, get off your knees, Siley. You know we've gotta get up to get time. Come gather round, friends, listen to me. It's Big Ian here from the DUP. You know we have always plenty to say. We get it from the mouth of Willie McRae. It's a rap. It's a rap. Now some people think we're not that clever, cause the DUP say never, never, never. We don't take a smoke, we don't take a drink, but we certainly know how to cause a stink. It's a rap. It's a rap. Oh, yes.
1, 2,
not hear this in songs of praise. Maybe your man Jerry will play it. No, not Jerry Adams. Jerry Anderson. And Joe Ferguson can play it too. That's if he's not suspended, that is. Oh, yes. I know a lot of people just can't take it when they see Sammy Wilson running naked. But take it from me and take it with a pinch. In the DUP, it's not an inch, it's a rap. It's a rap. And that man Trimble, we know what he's about, but as long as we're around, there'll be no sell out. Stick with us, we take no crap. Let's all join together, sing the Paisley Rap. It's a rap. It's a rap. Oh, yes. Move over, Dr. Dre. It's Dr. Paisley here. And Snoop Doggy Dogg, here's some. Chew this for a bone. Oh, yes. And 2-pack. I'm a 6-pack, son, and don't you forget it. Oh, yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, I'm the main man in the DUP. There isn't a rapper fit to mess with me. I can rap it here, I can rap it there, I can rap it up and storm it, I can rap it anywhere. It's a rap. It's a rap. It's a rap. A Paisley rap.
Here, Andy, not think it's about time you wrap that up. Let our Garfunkel and me have a go.
Jerry, the second word is off.
Ian, tell me this.
Yes, what do you want to know?
See that Paisley rap? See whenever you end off, what is the first word?
Well, that's up to you to find that out for yourself, Grizzly Adams.
Oh, seriously, come on. I have a bet on with Martin and Alex. Alex, take your mask off.
Yes, I know very well. You'll have to find that out for yourself what the first word is. Because I'm certainly not going to tell you.
Oh, for fuck's sake, come on. Come on, mate. Be a mate.
Certainly not be a fucking mate to you, Jerry. Never, ever, ever will be.
Come on. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make a small donation to your buckets.
Look, you just keep mulling out of this. I am not telling you what the first word was. The second word was off. So what goes before off?
Take?
No.